Animal Crossing is a series that's been around for almost 20 years and has spawned 11 titles, not including Animal Crossing Plaza, because, well, who would? The main idea of Animal Crossing hasn't changed too much over the years. You move to a new place, immediately accrue a ton of debt, and perform tasks to make money and pay off your loan. It's the small mechanics that make each addition to the series unique. Many of these unique mechanics are not carried forward into the next installment to the series. As a result, they're dead forever. They never return to future games, and fans are constantly hoping for their return in a future update or in a following game. This is not a prediction video. This is simply a things I miss and would love to see in the future, but probably won't ever happen again video. Kind of like a trip down memory lane. But who knows, maybe some of these things might have a chance to come back in the future. With that being said, I am going to avoid talking about mechanics that have been data mined and have a pretty good chance of being added with future updates for New Horizons. Let's get started. One thing I'm a little salty about not returning is a decent reward for paying off your house completely. The original Animal Crossing erected a statue of your villager near the train station, and city folk gave you your own flagpole. New Horizons just lets you customize the exterior of your house for free, but by the time you're able to pay off the final 2.5 million bell payment, the 5,000 bells that the exterior customization costs before paying off your house is essentially pocket change. This is the first reward since City Folk though, so at least we got something. Speaking of bells, in past games the players would receive rewards for saving up bells in the ABD, or the ATM. After hitting certain bell milestones, the player would be sent cool items like a tissue box. Yeah, I know, it's super cool. A piggy bank, and even a functional ABD for your house. Now, we get nothing. There's no incentive to continue saving up money except for the minuscule amount of interest you'll get for keeping money in the bank. I have 28 million bells chilling in my account for absolutely no reason. It's just there. And unless I'm spending millions on turnips to fill my entire island, it's going to stay there. The acres were a feature, a graphical limitation that was in the original Animal Crossing and hasn't returned because of improvements in technology. The acres were created because the consoles couldn't load the map instantly. Nintendo's answer to this was to create spaces that loaded individually when the players entered the square. One thing the developers added to work with this limit were buried items. Frequently, there would be a message on the bulletin board telling the player that there's buried treasure in a certain acre. This was always an exciting thing to look forward to when you logged on for the day. Even if it was nothing worthwhile, it was still something different to dig up besides the usual fossils and gyroids. One of the items you could find buried was an NES game. This was Nintendo's Virtual Console before the Virtual Console existed. We didn't have an eShop or tiny classic consoles to play these games easily. It was cute to just be able to play old school games on the GameCube. You didn't get anything for playing them, it was just fun to play. We kind of had something like this return a New Leaf with the mini-games that you could play on the 3DS or Wii U in-game models that were added with the Welcome Amiibo update. Not the same feel, but, you know, it was similar. Speaking of minigames, I miss the online minigames from New Leaf. I'm honestly super surprised that these didn't return to New Horizons. It was so fun to compete with friends and randoms online. One of the minigames involved the player whacking a robot with a large hammer. This item was super fun, and was also a tool that could be equipped outside the minigames. It was such a step up from hitting villagers with the net. We could bonk everyone on the head with a satisfying bouncy squeak. Fortune cookies were another cool addition to New Leaf, as well as Pocket Camp. In New Leaf, you used play coins to purchase them from Nook, which you acquired by walking around in real life, or shaking your 3DS like a crazy person because we were all too lazy and introverted to actually walk around outside. The fortune cookies gave you cool NES-themed items and furniture. I miss their presence in New Horizons. Granted, it would probably just be items that take up storage space in the end, but they were still cool. The way fortune cookies work in Pocket Camp is a bit different. The furniture available is pretty amazing. Kind of makes me think the extravagance of the cookies in Pocket Camp is like the last hurrah for them. I can't really see fortune cookies fitting into New Horizons. Maybe if there's a holiday that could feature them, or maybe an added mechanic to the hopefully inevitable Katrina return. A big missing mechanic that many players talk about is the passive aggressiveness, or lack thereof, of villagers in New Horizons. Even though there are 8 different personalities coded into New Horizons, it feels as though all the villagers kind of have the same personality and definitely similar dialogue. I know new dialogue has been added a couple times with different updates, but it just hasn't been enough for me. I understand why they do this. There's a lot of youngins who play this game, and some of the neighbors may have creeped them out or slightly offended them. But I miss when my villagers called me dumb. I have no need to talk to villagers now except to gift them something once a day to increase their friendship points. Though there is a decent amount of varying dialogue, it all has the same feel. The most jerkish thing they do is give me the exact same shirt I'm wearing. There are a couple other missing villager mechanics. One big one is asking the villagers for fetch quests. Running around town to see if anyone needed a quest completed gave me a reason to talk to my villagers. It was something to do when I got bored of fishing or weed pulling. In New Leaf, villagers would ask to visit your house at a specific time of your choosing. This feature was cool. It made it feel like you were part of the village and had friends who could come hang out. Personally, New Horizons feels lacking with villager interactions. I don't take the time to send letters to my neighbors either. Maybe that's more my fault, but I just don't feel the need to. With that being said, I miss the post office. Maybe this is the reason I don't send letters. It was cool to have a dedicated building to sending mail. It felt more homely, if that makes sense. Now we just have a postcard stand. Though I'm happy that I can successfully send letters to my friends without them becoming lost in the interwebs. I also miss mailing away fossils to get them appraised. It's nice to just talk to Blathers and have fossils assessed right then and there, but it was cool getting a ton of mail the next day. I'm probably alone on this, but I liked the tedious chore of having to mail away fossils. Separately, but related to the GameCube Animal Crossing, Blanca, where are you, no-faced kitty? I miss seeing my horrible artwork splattered across your polygon face and having you walk around like that until I change it again. Speaking of trains, where are the lockers? If the airport had lockers, I would be so much happier. There are so many times that I forget to empty my pockets for either a Mystery Island tour or running off to my friend's island, and I just end up dropping it all right at my entrance. Who has time to run all the way back to their house? Not me. Having a city to travel to was really nice. In City Folk, the city was a cool new area that changed up your scenery. I felt like I was going on a mini adventure when I needed something at the store or wanted to change up my look. A big new Leaf mechanic I miss are the town ordinances. I always had the beautiful town ones so my flowers didn't wilt, which kind of doesn't really work for New Horizons, but a couple of them allowed the player to change the hours the store was open, so if you have a weird work schedule, you could still experience everything you could do in the day without having to change your clock. Gems are another missing item from New Leaf. They were so pretty and amazing to customize with. We have gold nuggets, sure, but the other colors were pretty cool. The gems do remind me of the cute music boxes that we would have Cyrus craft for us. I would love some interactive crafting recipes in future updates. Maybe we just don't have the amazing crafting skills that Cyrus possessed. I also miss villagers leaving without asking. Is that weird? I liked that there was a punishment for leaving your game for an extended period. The weeds just don't grow fast enough for me in New Horizons to consider it a punishment. The gyroid outside your house in the original Animal Crossing was cool, and I miss him a lot. He was like your personal butler. He had a lot of different options for you to choose from. One of these was putting things up for sale so other players could purchase stuff from you. This feature was available in New Leaf at retail as well. I never really used it though, but then again I never had anyone visit my town. And if any of my friends need something now, I just send it to them for free, so I guess I still wouldn't use this feature. Serena was a cool way to work the Golden Axe mechanic into City Folk. Her decision on whether or not you received the Golden Axe was mostly based on how she felt about you that day, but it was a fun way to implement the mechanic. And lose your axe. I also just want luck to return. I miss running around and tripping because I had an unlucky day and not because I just happened to be holding a balloon. Froggy Chair. Where the heck is this thing? Nintendo's usually pretty good at listening to the memes and how the internet reacts to their ideas. I completely expected Froggy Chair to be highlighted in some way, but we have yet to see it. Maybe there's a frog holiday coming up that I don't know about. Morning aerobics. Enough said. Is there anything you missed from past games? Anything hit that nostalgia bone? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe or else you'll never find your dreamy. And I'll see you next time. Bye!